Hello, my name is Fox and you're watching Den of Fools. Let's jump right in. In week 32 of 2023 we had 104 tournaments with a total of 1,668 players and 5,757 games played. The Eldari are back at the top with 23 wins and 48 top 3 placings. They have the best weighted placing of the factions with more than a few players with 6, and were twice as good as the 13.7 they got last week. They also do much better in the larger tournaments than any other faction with 8 wins. It looks like they just had a slightly worse week last time out, and are back to dominating the tournaments. The Space Marines are in second with 19 wins and 49 top 3 placings, although the vast majority came from the smaller tournaments. They have a weighted placing of 14.9, which is a massive improvement on the 56.6 they had last time out. They are still struggling to win big events, however. They can do well at the smaller tournaments. Custodies come next with the exact same weighted placing and half the number of wins with 8. Their weighted placing was 7.9 last week, which is much better than the 14.9 they got this time. Like last week, most of their results come from the smaller tournaments, where they seem to perform much better. The Necrons come next with 7 wins, although 3 of them came from the larger tournaments. They do get the highest weighted placing in the blue group, with 17.6, which is still decent overall. Chaos Space Marines have a very good week, also getting 7 wins, and an impressive weighted placing of 11.9. The Orcs top the green group with 6 wins, and a weighted placing of 10.3, the third best overall. Imperial Knights and Genestealer Cults both get 5 wins, and a weighted placing of 21.3 and 13.4 respectively. The Genestealers actually win more of the larger tournaments with 3. They're still performing very well. I would imagine they don't win quite as many tournaments as the other top factions, due to them having one of the smaller player bases. The World Eaters get the second most weighted placing this week with 8.3, although all of their results came in the smaller tournaments. All 25 factions managed at least one top 10 placing, with the Space Marines get the most top 10s with 188. We did see over 100 tournaments this week, so predictably the Space Marines get a lot of top 10s. Less predictably, the Custodies are in second on 91, just ahead of Eldari in third on 90. The majority of tournaments were smaller this week, which perhaps explains why the Custodies managed to get second. Unsurprisingly, the Space Marines are the most played faction with 20.26% of all players taking them. Custodies are the second most popular faction, 8.03%, followed by Eldari in third on 7.31%. Perhaps the additional top 10 placing over Eldari was due to the Custodies being significantly more popular this week. It takes our resident stats guru and Ultramarine fanboy Fearless Fox many hours to collect all the data. It would be great if you could show your appreciation by liking and sharing the video. It really helps us with the God algorithm of YouTube. We have grouped the win rates by colour, with the key at the bottom of the screen. We see a few factions at the top of the rankings with very few players, so this week, the third most popular faction, Eldari, topped the win rates with 64.9%. I played a game against Eldari for the first time in 10th last week with my Necrons. It was a casual 3,000 point game, and I had a lot of fun. I did get soundly defeated, getting to experience the power of the Eldari and a Wraith Knight firsthand. At least they didn't have any fire prisms. My opponent did bring an Avatar of Cain, who had a great battle with my Nightbringer, with the Avatar just surviving on 1 wound remaining. I wasn't able to remove that last wound for the following 2 turns, and I'm totally not bitter about it. Even in casual games, they do seem very tough to play against. I never felt I had any answers to his firepower, although I did not have the most competitive Necrons list. Small tangent aside, the Genestealer Cults come in second, with a win rate of 59%. The second most popular faction, Custodies, get a win rate of 56.6%, with the Imperial Knights just behind with a win rate of 56.4%. The Orcs come next with a win rate of 54%, followed by the Necrons, who get a 53.4% win rate. Chaos Space Marines get a good win rate to go along with their good tournament form this week, with 51.4%. Thousand Sons are the last known faction in green, with a win rate of 50.8%. The most popular faction, Space Marines, just miss out on the Goldilocks zone, with a win rate of 44%. Stay tuned till later on in the video, where we will look at the win rates for the individual chapters. A special mention to the Grey Knights, who get a win rate of 33.3%, much worse than the 47.1% they got last week. The Sons of Titan must have just had a good week last time. At least GW acknowledged that they are struggling in their official win rates. Of course, the second most popular faction, Eldari, topped the Leviathan to date win rates with an impressive 65.7%. The Genestealer Cults are in second with a win rate of 61.4%. They seem to have settled around a 61% win rate for this time being. Imperial Knights improved their hold on third. They now have a win rate of 55.8%. The third most popular faction, Custodies, are just in the Goldilocks zone, with a win rate of 55%. I did estimate in the last show it would take a week or 2 for them to take third place. However, with the Knights improving this week, I could be wrong. They are still performing over a 55% win rate in the weekly rankings, so I am confident they will move outside the Goldilocks zone very soon. We did compare our win rates with the GW official 10th edition win rate, and we came very close to theirs. In the weekly, we have these 4 factions outside the Goldilocks zone like GW. Next week, I would estimate these factions will replicate that in the Leviathan to date rankings. The Thousand Suns come next with a win rate of 51.7%, followed by Chaos Demons, who just get in green with a win rate of 50.2%. The most popular faction, Space Marines, get a win rate of 43.4%, with a further 9 factions below them, 4 of which are in red. These factions have been struggling from the start according to our stats. It was good to see when we did our comparison that GW also have these factions outside the Goldilocks zone. GW specifically called out the 4 factions in red for a buff, so hopefully they get a lot of love in the next balance update. It's not long now until the changes come in. GW have said it will be the second week of September. This week, the 3 Crimson Fists and single Red Scorpions players topped the win rate with 66.7%. The Death Watch are the first chapter with a decent number of players. They get a win rate of 52.4% and continue to show good form. The Imperial Fists come next with a win rate of 52.2%, with the Iron Hands rounding out the green group with a 51.2% win rate. The 5 White Scars players top the yellow group with a win rate of 47.4%. The most popular chapter, the Dark Angels, come next with a win rate of 46.8%. The Space Wolves are the last faction in the Goldilocks zone with a win rate of 45.1%. It is interesting to see that both of these factions are in the Goldilocks zone this week with a similar win rate as GW's official one. Usually they are outside the zone, so it was a bit surprising they are both in the zone this week after GW releases their official win rates. The Black Templars get a win rate of 44.1%, followed by the third most popular chapter, the Blood Angels, who get a win rate of 43.3%. Fearless's favourite Blue Boys, the Ultramarines, are the last chapter in yellow, with a win rate of 41.8%. The Death Watch remain at the top of the Leviathan to date win rate with 51.9%. They are still the only chapter in green in 10th so far. The Iron Hands top the yellow group with a win rate of 48.8%, followed by the Salamanders, who get a 46.6% win rate. The Imperial Fists run a win rate of 45.7%, just ahead of the Raven Guard, who have a 45.6% win rate. The most popular chapter, the Dark Angels, come next, with a win rate of 44.6%. They are getting closer to the Goldilocks zone, and if we round up our win rate, we do get the same 45% as GW. The Space Wolves get a win rate of 43.8%. Their weekly form is better, but there is still a long way to go until they get to GW's 46% win rate. The most popular chapter, the Black Templars, get a win rate of 42.8%. The second most popular chapter, the Ultramarines, get a win rate of 41.4%, followed by the White Scars and Crimson Fists, who get a win rate of 41.3% and 41.1% respectively. The Blood Angels are the only known chapter in red, with a win rate of 39.8%. This week, the majority of Chaos Space Marine warbands are unknown, so we'll go straight into Leviathan so far. The 3 Fallen players top the win rate with 60%. The 16 Emperor's Children players come next, with 56.7%. The Black Legion just missed out on green, with a win rate of 49.6%. The Iron Warriors get a win rate of 48.1%, followed by the Red Corsairs, who run 47.8%. The Word Bearers get a win rate of 44.9%, with the Alpha Legion just behind on a win rate of 44.8%. The Night Lords are at the bottom with a win rate of 43.9%, which is significantly better than the worst performing of the Loyalists. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe, check out one of the videos on screen, and consider using our affiliate links in the description. Thank you for watching.